Now, an aristocratic British family is members of an aristocratic British family are due to travel to Grenada to publicly apologise for the ownership of more than 1,000 enslaved Africans in the 19th century. The Trevelyan family will also pay reparations to the people of Grenada, where it owned 6 sugar plantations. One member is my colleague Laura Trevelyan. She is a BBC presenter in Washington and in New York, and she's been speaking to reporter Azadeh Moshiri in a personal capacity.
How do you make up for centuries of oppression? That's a question countries like Britain and the United States are still trying to answer. BBC presenter Laura Trevelyan is confronting her ancestors' own role in the slave trade. Across the Caribbean, there are calls for reparations. After she learnt her family was listed on a database of slave owners, Ms. Trevelyan visited Grenada to face her ancestors' painful legacy.
When I went to Grenada and I saw for myself the plantations where slaves were punished, when I saw the instruments of torture that were used to restrain them, when I looked at the neck braces, at the manacles, at this system of dehumanization that my family had profited from as absentee slave owners of these sugar plantations, I felt ashamed.
The Trevelyan family has decided to apologise. In a public letter, they write, "Slavery was and is unacceptable and repugnant. Its damaging effects continue to the present day. We repudiate our ancestors' involvement in it." They go on, "Through a donation by Laura Trevelyan, we have been able to contribute to the setting up of the Reparations Research Fund at the University of the West Indies to look into the economic impacts of enslavement."
5 times great-grandfather.
Ms. Trevelyan explained the impact her family's actions still have today.
Poverty is rife. There's a lot of obesity, of hypertension, of ill health, which is linked to slavery, health experts feel, because of decades of poor diet, of stress.
And so some people could see what you're doing and argue, you know what, this is a drop in the bucket, and that it's not going to fix the generations of difficulties and setbacks that these families have had to face. What would your response be to that?
Yes, I completely understand that this can seem like a very inadequate gesture, that our family received the equivalent of about £3 million in compensation when slavery was abolished. We got that money in 1834. So for me to be giving £100,000 almost 200 years later for a fund that's going to look at economic development in Grenada and the Eastern Caribbean, maybe that seems like it's really inadequate. But I hope that we're setting an example by apologising for what our ancestors did.
Later this month, the Trevelyans will return to Grenada. They'll attend a public forum organised by its National Reparations Commission. That's where the island will continue to reflect on what it's lost after centuries of colonisation and enslavement. Azadeh Moshiri, BBC News.